Anchor Matt Austin is in the studio with more on the crash and how he's doing right now, Matt.
Okay, so this is the scene of the crash. You can see Tiger Woods' vehicle right here. It is turned over on its side. The airbags are deployed, and the front of the vehicle is just smashed to pieces. Hard to even recognize what type of vehicle it is. Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department says Tiger was the only person in the car during this crash. Investigators said first responders had to use the jaws of life to rescue Woods. Then an ambulance took him to a nearby hospital. This all happening around 10 a.m. our time, which is 7 a.m. in California. Right now, Tiger's manager says he is undergoing surgery after suffering multiple leg injuries. A lieutenant tells the CBS station in Los Angeles, as far as he knows, Tiger's injuries are not life-threatening. Ladies.
All right, Matt, thank you. So in order to better understand what happens following a crash like this one, we're talking to the News 6 traffic safety expert, Trooper Steve. He joins us now on the phone. And Steve, you've seen the images coming out of LA. Matt just mentioned the jaws of life were used. Why the jaws of life?
Well, first, thanks for having me on, guys, and the best wishes to Tiger and his family. But first and foremost, fire department is going to pick and choose what tools they're going to use in order to save people's lives. And looking at those pictures, looking at, from what I've been able to see of the crash, the damage, so the jaws of life come out when you can't get into a car. And based off of the damage and how severe that car, the damage it received, the fire department chose to use those jaws of life in order to get in that car. And ladies, we're talking probably the biggest tool that the fire department has, other than their fire truck itself, in order to extricate people from inside of absolutely mangled vehicles, and that's what they chose to do.
So, Steve, we know that this is a single vehicle crash. How does the investigation work in a situation like this?
From what I'm looking at, from some of the pictures, it does seem like they're doing an extensive crash investigation. You know, I always refer to these as crashes and not accidents. Accidents cause the crash. And what's going to happen is they're going to completely, probably reconstruct this crash step by step. We here in the state of Florida, the Highway Patrol, you know, we investigate fatal crashes very detailed, or anything that has extensive injuries to it. This would be one of those. I can't speak on behalf of CHP or Los Angeles County, but from what I'm looking at, they're using very similar equipment, and they're going to be able to determine the speed of the crash, when the driver left the roadway. From what I'm seeing, it does appear that he was traveling one way, traveled onto oncoming lanes, and in return, possibly, from what the damage is, looked like it could have rolled the car at some point. You could see that the airbags were deployed in this, and that is ultimately probably what kept Tiger alive, was those airbags.
Yeah, it is not, one of those small crashes either. Our traffic safety expert, Trooper Steve, with his insight and expertise. Thank you, Steve.